Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Saturday, 7:30 p.m., August 1st, and I'm going to do a quick evening Bitcoin and altcoin analysis. Lots going on. I'm going to look at some price predictions potentially in the near term for Bitcoin and for Ethereum. We'll also check out some other altcoins, maybe some DeFi coins by the end of the video. So stay tuned, hit the thumbs up, and hit subscribe if you like our content. All right, so let's get to it, okay? On the 5-minute chart, what I'm seeing really right now is a trading range, okay? If we define that trading range, really all we've done for the past, I want to say pretty much the entire day, right, is we've done something like this, okay? So let's open up, where's the parallel channel right there? There it is. Okay, let me turn off all these alerts. I have like 50 different alerts for all these different darn charts. So this is the trading range that we're in, all right? I have not seen a clear breakout or breakdown above or below this range, right? So all we can really assume right now is we can take trades that are long from down here to up here, shorts from up here to down here. Would I short this? Definitely not. I have not shorted the market since I got out of my short position since back here. Since back here around 23rd of July, I've been longing the market. Every pullback, I buy longs and I take profits higher up. I've been doing this the entire time. And you're probably wondering, well, why didn't I just long once and just hold it all the way up? First of all, I have no way of knowing where the market is going. I can only assume that the resistance levels that I had above would potentially either get broken or they would hold. And so I take profits based on key SR levels. So right now, the way I'm looking at the market is, being in a long position, I'm thinking that this triangle target that you see right now comes from something like this. Okay, so let's go to the hourly actually. Actually, maybe it's this one right here. Okay, so basically what we had is this big triangle that we were, printing an A, B, C, D, and E triangle. Okay, and if you were in the advantage side or paid side of the community, you were able to get way the heck down here at the bottom in terms of our longs or at this E marker, and you took this long all the way up to about $11,400, $11,700. My final target for this right now, the current trend, is 12,000. Anything beyond that, I will have to reassess when the market kind of shows me what exactly it's trying to do. But I can only think as far as 12,000 for now for the near-term targets. And I'll tell you why, right? So like it says, there's a triangle target. So all we do really to measure this triangle is we go from the widest part from that high to this low right here. And we put this from the breakout point right around this area. And you can see we're right there around $12,100, $12,150. I listed $12,075. So technically, let me actually bring this up right around that area. So that's around the area where I'm thinking that BTC can still head to and not be completely overextended, especially because we have this triangle target, okay? Now, if we're starting to look at, say, the RSI on 4-hour, it's definitely extended, right? What we're really coming into is a big sort of bearish divergence. You can see, let me show you all real quick. You can see a clear, divergence right there, lower highs, right? And then a clear higher high right there, okay? So it's abundantly clear that we're potentially, in this big divergent form of RSI right here to price. However, okay, what's really happening on the daily is, after this bit of consolidation that we had, we've really pushed up quite nicely, all right? And so far, the candle spread is not really telling me that we're slowing down anytime soon, nor is the volume. You can see bigger candle spreads going up and then volume going up. This is technically what you want to see in a bullish trend. And to be honest, as much as I like to pay attention to the RSI, when price is going parabolic like this, it's very hard to bet against price, or rather to short it. I would agree that this is the area up here, 11.8, $12,000-ish. That's the area to start taking profit. this is not the place where you start opening longs, okay? Because longs get destroyed at the top of trends like this, especially when you have a big bearish divergence, all right? So just something to be careful about up here. Even the RSI and the OBV right here, both ticking high, especially the RSI. OBV is kind of showing us healthy signs. So it's nothing, in terms of bad signs in OBV, but the RSI definitely overbought up here. We're right there around 83 points or so. Obviously we have more room to go up in the upside in terms of RSI, but this is really the area where you're getting into the overbought territory and you want to start at least taking profit or trimming down. That's the best way. If you want to be a longer, sustainable, consistently profitable trader, unfortunately, you have to sacrifice, some of those potential up moves for the sake of knowing that as per technicals, you might be a bit overbought. You might be a bit overextended. There might be other indicators like the TD sequential that are even telling you that, hey, this is super, overextended, overbought to the upside, because TD9 right here, remember, TD sequential helps you measure buy side exhaustion or sell side exhaustion. So when you get to that 9, when you get to that 13, that's effectively telling you that, hey, maybe a reversal or a pullback might be near. Okay. When it comes to ETH, let me see here. I think, what was it? Maybe a day or two ago, we were breaking out of somewhere over here. No, I think it was like somewhere down here, actually. The 330s area where I was telling people that, okay, well, we've broken out of these local trend lines right here. Over here, this was a successful retest of this previous high. So this was a potential area where I let Advantage members know this is a pretty solid long that you could take from here till 355 or almost till $400. Well, technically it's 480 because if you look over here, right, on the weekly chart, if you're closing above 355 on the weekly, and again, weekly closes tomorrow. Crazier things have happened in 24 hours, guys. So don't think that Ethereum cannot drop back under 355 by tomorrow around this time, because that's a whole 24-hour cycle till tomorrow's daily closes, or tomorrow's weekly rather. So 355 is a big marker for me on ETH. You could see across, June 2017, August 2017, October 2017, and then over here in June 2019, and now we're coming up to it in July 2020. Very key SR level, this marker. So it makes sense that even if we push up here, maybe tomorrow or going into next week, we might have that pullback back to 355, maybe a little bit lower, and then we might make our way back up to 480. It's also possible that we don't have that retrace and we just go straight up to 480. Unfortunately, in situations like this, if you have somewhat of a overextended market, your stops need to be a little bit deeper if you really want to get into longs. Because here's the thing, you already know that you are creating bearish divergences on multiple time frames on multiple assets. So it might behoove you to be more careful in your long position structure, whether it's maybe using tighter stops or smaller positions and then wider stops, however you want to do that. But you have to manage your risk properly in situations like this, because you might effectively be buying the local top. By the time euphoria and all this FOMO and excitement hits you guys, that's really the whole idea of, the psychological trap of a market. It gets you so excited to the point where you feel like you've missed out on so much, you don't want to miss out anymore. And you jump in just like most people. And unfortunately, that just happens to be the top. That's just how the psychology of the market works. And so I'm telling you guys that if you're currently in long positions, okay, you want to start trimming down up here, okay? You do not want to be heavily exposed to long positions or be adding up here. This is the time to start being careful, start taking profit. If you're looking for shorts, personally, I think it's a bit dangerous in my opinion, but if you really want to take like swing shorts or something, well, you have it, you have an opportunity to short here with a stop above 12,000 or something. But if we're looking at Trading Light, here's an interesting thing. So I've been watching Trading Light, for the last even like several days or several, weeks now. And going back into July, right? End of July right here, when we really started to have that push towards like breaking 11,300 or so, or even back here when we were breaking through these walls that were stacked up. These are all sell walls on, this is Bitfinex, by the way. Bitfinex is the exchange where I've seen a lot of selling coming from. So I've been paying attention to the sell walls on Finex more than I have most other exchanges. The buy walls have actually been coming more so on BitMEX and sometimes Coinbase. Binance here and there as well. But Finex right here is the one exchange, as you can see, has had a lot of sell walls. So I've been paying attention to, seeing what exactly is happening. And it seems like these walls are not spoofs, meaning they're not fake. They don't just get pulled as soon as price starts to approach it. In fact, what really happens is price is actually digging through these walls, meaning buyers are stepping up and chewing through each one of these sell orders all the way up. So how does that help us now? Well, we're currently in a position where we have sell walls stacked all the way to about $12,000. The heaviest being near term right there around 11,900. I would say that there's a higher probability that we keep grinding and pushing through these sell walls on the way up versus, just breaking down straight away, because it ain't the sell walls that are going to, indicate that we're going to break down from here, because clearly we've been chewing through them, as you can see right here, right across the board. So this to me is indicating that it looks like sellers are selling. Now, does that mean that sellers are selling that this is the top, or are they just selling to take profit on the market? I think at present moment, it's a little bit of both. I can't definitively say that sellers are selling because this is a top. Well, if it was a top, more than likely, the big whales are very good at knowing where the top is, and then price swiftly starts reversing from that area. But if we've been grinding through these sell walls and we keep pushing up higher and higher, well, is it really the top, right? The euphoria in the market is good, okay? That's also indicating to me that, okay, people are getting excited, people are longing, they feel invincible, they keep calling for higher prices. But has it gotten to the point where market is putting people in disbelief? And even those that are long, from a lower price, are feeling really, really excited, or professional traders? I don't think so, at least not yet. That's not what I'm sensing from the market. Currently, what I'm sensing for the market is there might be euphoria or that clear FOMO if we start ripping through 12,300, 12,500, maybe even 13,000. That's where I would figure, okay, this is where the FOMO is really going to set in, and that might be the top. But again, structurally looking right here, whether it's the overextension on the RSI, the bearish divergence, the triangle target right here, and even a little bit of the euphoria that's coming in, there are reasons to say that this could effectively be the local top. And so I want y'all to be careful in thinking, okay, well, if you are in longs, it's okay to start taking profit. This was the other marker that I had drawn. This comes back from August and way the heck back here in July 2019. It's a weird looking marker if you look at it, but if you dig in closely, like into the 4 hour or the 1 hour, it actually made a lot of sense, and that's why I picked this marker. So if you look right here, right, in this area right here, that was resistance. This was resistance right here before we broke down. This was resistance right here, got rejected, but we pushed up, deviated right there, and then sold off, right? So that marker right now stretches to exactly where we are currently, right? This 11,800, 11,900 area. So this is another reason why you can say you have added confluence, whether it's the TD sequential, bearish divergence, maybe even these sell walls. However you want to look at it, there are many reasons to start taking profit and very few reasons why you need to open longs here. But Doesn't mean you don't have to open longs. Doesn't mean you don't have to have exposure. Hey, I told you I've been long, or longing since back here, right? Since we broke up past 9495. But I've been taking profits on the way up, reopening positions, re-adding to my longs, closing out profit, and then reopening positions. Why? Because I want to be careful in the market. I like realizing profit more than I like looking at numbers in my account showing me that I'm up, X amount of money. See, I think the thing about trading that most people don't understand is that unless profit is realized, and I mean really realized into your life, meaning you were able to pay for bills, you were able to buy a new car, go on vacation, start a new business, make your life better in some way, that profit doesn't mean anything as long as it's just unrealized profits in digits that are just ticking in your account. So this is why I say taking profits on the way up is okay. It doesn't matter if you do miss out on that extra, couple percent run. Even if it's $1,000 run up, who cares, right? You'll still be spot long anyway, because if you think about it, if you have BTC exposure and you're not in a long derivative or futures position, well, you still have Bitcoin exposure. So as long as the market keeps going up, you're still making money. You may not be making as much money as if you were long with a 10x leverage or something, but money is money. And again, realized profits are the only kind of profits that matter. Until then, it's just virtual numbers in your account, guys. Right? So make sure y'all realize profits. Well, with ETH, like I was saying earlier, again, a big psychological target is $400. If we actually turn on the pivots right here on the daily, as you can see, we're hitting that R1 pretty dead on. R2 is right there, around $430 or so. So if you want to take that risk, well, the daily pivot is way the heck down here around 306. Okay, so if you're trading based on the daily time frame, your stop should be below this pivot. All right. If you're digging into the smaller time frames, okay, the current daily pivot, meaning for today's daily candle, this is the actual pivot. So it's possible that we come back to test this pivot as support, which is around $375.36 or so. So we could test that as support, and we could do something like this where come down, and then maybe by tomorrow we start reaching up towards R1, which is around 406, and R2, which is around 425. Okay, let me see here. Let's see if there's anything else to talk about. I haven't seen anything special in the news. Let me see. We've been talking about, in the crypto industry, yes, banks may now be able to custody your Bitcoin or custody your crypto. But I think most people in the crypto space have realized, we don't really trust banks that much anymore. I feel like, banks nowadays are, in my opinion, becoming the blockbuster of, 2005 or 2006, right? It's coming to a point where people are realizing either they don't need banks or they want to be their own central bank or sovereign bank with the help of Bitcoin, or they want a different form of digital money. Point is, I think the financial system is definitely due for an overhaul. And I think Bitcoin really helps accelerate that process. Obviously, digital money that's even created by governments does that too. But I think people in the Bitcoin and crypto space definitely want that to happen. And I don't think we are in a time, nor in a country, especially if you guys are from America, that Bitcoin would just be outright banned or government would restrict your purchase or usage of it. So I think Bitcoin in times like this is the best asset to be owning, because what we've effectively seen is the heavy amount of money printing. We know that the dollar has been getting weaker and weaker. However, I'm actually not such a big fan of the argument that the dollar is going to, I don't know, not die, but like it's losing its reserve currency status. And dollar, I mean US dollar. I don't think we're at that point. You see, the United States, this is as per Swipe International bank research, they said that 79.5% of global trade is actually done in US dollar. The world demands dollars. A lot of the world has, US debt. A lot of the world has US equities. A lot of the world has US treasury bonds, and they trade in US dollar. So they would not want the American dollar to start falling. They would not want the American economy to start breaking apart due to the dollar reserve losing its status. There are many reasons why, in some ways, people's best interest would be in a fairly healthy dollar. Now, that doesn't mean a dollar at 100 or 110. It could very well be that the dollar is happily traded right here between 93 and 95. That might be the sweet spot for both America and the world. And my argument is that if the dollar is trading at these levels, well, it's great for things like crypto, things like commodities such as gold and silver, which have been doing extremely well. But remember that I don't think the dollar is just going to start getting torched on the way down, especially because it's been so darn oversold over the last, let's check out the RSI right here. You can see it's so oversold. On the daily basis, you can see the MACD has completely gone down, but now is looking like it wants to start curling back a little bit. So I would say this is a temporary bottom for the dollar, which would imply maybe a temporary top for gold and things like Bitcoin and silver. So the correlation is that, if the dollar starts pushing up, I think equities, commodities, and even Bitcoin start pulling back a little bit. And that might give us that perfect retrace of maybe going back to 11,000, maybe a little bit lower around 10.6 or 10.8, okay? Because that would be the perfect ideal situation for us to look at this as a healthy market where we say, all right, it looks like we broke out. We went parabolic. We had a nice, how much of a retrace would that be? From this key high to this key low, good, or rather this area right here, that'd be a good 10% retracement. Even if we went a little bit lower back inside this trading range, which is around, or actually the high of this trading range, which is around 10,100 or so, that'd be around a 14% retrace, which is pretty healthy in Bitcoin bull markets or bull trends. See, the thing is, if you want a longer lasting bull market, guys, you want good, healthy retracements. Okay, you don't just want a straight up parabolic move, because those cycles end a lot faster. And to be honest, the ceiling of those cycles is much more capped than if you were to enter a long sort of, big consolidation type of movement. Like here, we had a 3-month consolidation right here, broke out, consolidated for a month, pushed up, consolidated for another month, pushed up. So you want, multiple movements like this on the way up, where you consolidate, move sideways, pull back maybe 10, 15, 20%, and then start pushing back up. So this is why I'm looking at the market as a healthy area to start trimming down your long position. All right. If we're looking at the daily volume, like I said, pretty healthy volume so far. Let's check out the daily pivots on Bitcoin. Whoa, we don't need that many pivots. Let's turn these off. Let's look at the current daily pivots. Okay, so the current daily pivot, or rather, for the month technically, is the R1 right here, which is around $12,200. So, it makes sense that maybe we push up to 12,000. Maybe we wick up into 12.2 and then start rolling back down. Okay, these are all things that you want to consider. If you are in a position right now, you need to start making a game plan for yourself, where you're going to place your stops, where you're going to start taking profit. How are you going to add on to your position, de-risk your current portfolio? All these things are what's going to make you from going from an average trader or an average person who buys Bitcoin sometimes or is trying to make money in the market to someone who can be consistently profitable, consistently taking money from the market rather than giving money to the market. Let me see what's going on with Link here. Here's actually the big thing with Link that I've been paying attention to. Okay, so this is kind of how I've been looking at Link. So let's turn this, we can leave that on actually. I was gonna leave the fibs on. So we had a nice top that was put in around $9 or so, right? So let's just use approximations, $9. Now it came down to about $6.50. So that was a good retracement, right? And this is what I mean. When things like Link, even when they go parabolic, here's the retracement that it had. It had a 26% retracement. And now it's starting to push back up, right? So if Bitcoin has, 10, 20% retracement, and then it starts to push back up, well, it has now a higher ceiling to the upside. Higher ceiling meaning this: if we just simply do a fib extension from this key high, the $9 to the 650 low, our fib extension should now start taking us to about $10.38, which is a 1.618 fib. If you're looking at the 2.0 extension from high to low to the 2.0 right here, $11.30. I mean, that's pretty darn good. From where we are right now, that's some pretty big upside. But again, altcoins, you want to be careful, because when Bitcoin dumps, man, altcoins dump even harder. They dump twice as hard, actually. So you want to be careful in these situations, okay? Not effectively, when Bitcoin starts pushing back up, or it's starting to look weak at the top, maybe don't be heavy into altcoins. Maybe start trimming down your positions. Or if you're into altcoins for, say, the next few months, the next few quarters even, right? I would probably pick up Link. I would probably pick up Ethereum. I'd pick up things, in the DeFi space that are looking good. And I would hold on to those as spot positions, not as futures positions or leverage positions, but as spot positions, because then you have less risk, because you're not heavily tied into a position. You don't have to pay funding. You still make money. You just may not make as much money, say if you were, leveraged long. So with Link, keep these targets in mind. Unfortunately, your stop will probably have to be right around this 382 fib, which is below this low, or way the heck down here below this low around 650. But, your upside is 1.618 fib right here, 1040 or so, and then $11.30. Let me see here. There's also a video I actually just made. You can click on it on your top right of the screen. I talk about some DeFi coins that I'm paying attention to. One coin that has 1,000% plus potential. The video is on the top right, so you can click on that. And it'll also be at the end of this video. So make sure you all go check that out. It's about DeFi coins I'm paying attention to, and one or two positions that I'm buying for the next several months as a potential spot position that can yield almost 1,000+%. Again, not financial advice. It's just exactly what I'm doing in the market. So if you're interested in watching or listening, watch that video. Let's see here. There's this big channel that I've been watching too. If you look at this, let me see here. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, let's put this on the 8-hour as well. I think once you have all these charts, you want to start being organized, and I feel like that's one thing I'm working on, is how to stay as organized as possible with so many different charts. It's very hard on TradingView, that's for sure. So a few days back, I think we were in here, right? 28th or 29th July. And I was talking about to our members, I think I even did a free video on this on YouTube, that we were creating the same sort of ABCDE triangle right here that we were creating right here. So if you watch that video, you were effectively able to get into a long position in Bitcoin right around like 11,000, maybe 10,850, 10,900. And so obviously that's $1,000 move that you've caught so far if you actually paid attention and watched my videos. Now, what comes out of that? Well, the triangle move right here, if we do a measured move, like I said, the triangle takes us up here to around $12,000-ish. Over here, this triangle definitely took us to about $10,100, $10,200. Price actually went to about a 10,045 high. So not too bad, pretty darn close. But there's another way you can do something like this where you go to the top of the triangle right there and you do a retrace, or rather a extension, and you see right there, price ended up just under the 1.618 fib. So pretty good, right? If you do the same thing right here, okay, you'll see the amazement of that fib extension structure playing out. Okay, so let's do the low. See, look where we are. We're just right under that 1.618 fib, guys. So, you know, if you're going off fractals, if you believe in these triangles that have been playing themselves out in the same manner, well, this is a good area to start taking profit. Okay. Well, that's it, folks. I hope you all enjoy the content. Again, I am still long. I am in no way calling the top in this market just yet. You know, I think there's a lot of bullish momentum still left, but I also do wish for markets to give me healthy pullbacks. So buyers like myself and like you can buy when there's a healthy retrace in the market, create a floor for support, and then we can aim for higher prices. But when things go parabolic, I think the wrong kind of mentality, the wrong kind of people step into the market. These are the FOMO chasers, the euphoria chasers. And these people are really not healthy when it comes to bullish trends in the market, because whenever you see people piling into positions like that, well, you're pretty darn close to a top. You know, so you should effectively wish for a market to have a pullback so buyers like you and I can step into the market, create a floor for support, and then start aiming for higher prices, whether it be 12,500 or 13,000. You know, one of my big sort of picks is that if we have today's, or not today's, but this week's candle right here, close above this key marker, as you can see, $11,400, where we are right now. Well, I guess we're $400 above that, but if we close this weekly above this marker, is what I'm trying to say, well, then our ceiling opens up over here. Okay, our ceiling is right there, guys. Right, because that's the last time we wicked into, you know, huge supply. See, if we're not getting rejected right here on a weekly basis, well, I can only sense that we're probably going to push up higher. Now, does that mean that we can't, on the next weekly candle, retrace down in the middle of the week and then push back up by the end of the week or even the following week after? I mean, we could definitely do that. But the point is, I think that if you put in such a huge candle above a key SR level like the 11,400 marker, well, I think the chances are pretty high that you might be actually aiming for this key supply block right here around 13,900. So this is kind of my big prediction. I'm really, really anxiously waiting for tomorrow's weekly candle to close, because boy, the higher it closes, the more conviction I have that more than likely we're going higher. And all pullbacks, I'm probably going to long, to be honest, unless I just see an aggressive, you know, bearish candle like this. Well, I mean, I can't really, you know, do anything about that. All I can do is place my stops properly, but I'm going to buy the pullbacks whenever that happens. If we close this candle above 11.4, or the higher we close, you know, the better I feel about longing. All right. So all this stuff is going to be available on the Advantage side. We have tons of other analysts in our community, tons of information here, Bitcoin trading channels, altcoin trading channels where we buy spot positions in altcoins, leverage positions in altcoins, and then DeFi coins that we're also picking up. So tons of analysis, tons of information. And then of course an equity side. So if you're trading the US stock market, we have tons of tips and tricks that Faisal, who's our equities analyst, and myself share with our community members exactly what we're picking up this week. Okay. So that's it, folks. Hope you all enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe if you do like our videos, and give me a shout out on Twitter if you do like our analysis, and leave me a comment of your thoughts. Until then, Join the Advantage membership if you want this kind of in-depth analysis, live analysis twice a day, or trade setups, throughout the day or the week. Cheers and have a great rest of your weekend.